You worry too much about what people think. Today, I want to share a conversation between a famous Korean monk and a student struggling with stress from overthinking in relationships. If you have ever suffered from repetitive thoughts and behaviors that keep appearing like a habit even when you don't want them to, this conversation may feel familiar.
I experience a lot of stress in relationships. I often imagine what other people think about me. I decide it in my own mind, and then I try not to appear that way. I get stressed because of it. But most of the time, other people are not even thinking about me that much. Sometimes they do not care at all. So I want to stop worrying so much about others. How can I focus more on myself instead of how I appear to people?
If worrying about people is exhausting, then don't worry about them. But the real problem is this, right? You want to stop caring, but you keep caring anyway.
Yes,
That is called a habit of thinking. Since childhood, you probably spent a long time wanting to look good in front of others, and now it has become automatic. Habits are difficult to change. People say things like, that's just their personality, that's their nature, that's their character. Why do people use words like habit, personality, or character? Because those things are not easily changed by willpower. If they were easy to change, we would not call them habits. So first, you should stop thinking, I must completely fix this. Because habits do not disappear so easily. If you keep reacting through that habit, you continue to suffer. You feel stress. So naturally, you try not to care, right?
yes.
But simple determination is not enough to defeat habit. That is why people say motivation fades so quickly. Willpower is conscious, habit is unconscious. No matter how hard the conscious mind tries, it cannot easily defeat the unconscious mind. You can stay focused for maybe 30 minutes or 1 hour. But once you relax, the unconscious pattern returns. So there are two ways to change a habit. The first is through intense exposure. When I was a student, I practiced something extreme. I would walk around acting foolishly, letting people laugh at me. Then eventually I stopped caring what people thought. If you experience stronger embarrassment on purpose, small judgments stop feeling important. There is a Korean saying, fight fire with fire. Sometimes facing bigger embarrassment makes smaller judgments lose their power. The second way is weaker, but steady. Because habits are hard to change, you must practice for a very long time. Whenever you notice yourself caring too much about others, say to yourself, I'm doing it again. I'm worrying about how people see me again. Just notice it, then let it go. Later, you notice it again. Then let it go again. How long should you do this? Maybe 100 million times. The Buddha said, dripping water can break stone. Is that easy or difficult?
Difficult.
Very difficult. But if water keeps falling for 10,000 years, eventually the stone changes. So for practitioners, when we talk about changing habits, changing karma, think about how difficult that must be. In India, people even say karma is something a person is born with. They even say it is their nature. But the Buddha said human nature is not fixed. Human nature can change. But it is difficult to change. When people say that's just their nature, it means change must have felt extremely difficult. That is the point. But difficult does not mean impossible. Change is possible, but it requires steady practice. That is what practice means. People want to change quickly. In one day, in 1 month, in a few months. But when change does not happen fast enough, they become discouraged and give up. Real change requires consistency. When you notice, caring about others is making me suffer again, then say, there I go again. I want people to think well of me again. I want approval again. But listen carefully. Even if you want people to see you positively, that does not mean they will. And even if you tell people not to judge you, they still might, because their thoughts belong to them, not to you. If I want people to say, that was a great lecture, does that guarantee they will say it? No. People see things through their own perspective. But when we desperately want praise, what are we really doing? We are trying to control other people's opinions. That is actually very controlling behavior. You want people to think you are good, you are likable, you are impressive, but their thoughts are not yours to control. That is their world, not yours. If someone praises you, that does not automatically make you a great person. If someone criticizes you, that does not automatically make you a bad person. Those are simply their thoughts, their interpretations. So stop trying to control other people's feelings and judgments. That's not something you can control, and yet people keep believing they can do it. That is illusion. So understand this clearly. I'm imagining again. I'm seeking approval again. And continue practicing, little by little.